Hey guys, it's Aaron. It's closing in on the holidays real quick, and it's also closing in on finals for our college students. Our lineup today includes Holiday Talk. 'Tis the season for holiday shopping and holiday parties, another installment of the Podium. Our take on the critical things to consider when weighing your internship offers. Are you a big fish, little pond, or a big pond, little fish kind of person? And Kim has 2 great articles on popular tech, stuff that is definitely going to be on your holiday list this year. We give you the deets to impress your family and also to impress your boss at the Christmas party. Let's get at it.
All right, guys. Welcome to the close of business.
Great to be with you guys.
Hi.
It's 5 o'clock on the East Coast right now.
It's true, yeah.
And we're done with our work day, and we're sitting in a brand new recording studio.
It's really amazing.
It is fresh.
The step change right here. This is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can tell as far as sound quality, but I can tell just from my personal voice somehow. We've been trying to record a podcast for 8 months now, and we just now found out that we have a recording studio here in Black and Veatch.
A little word of wisdom to our listeners, anybody who's thinking about making their own podcast. If you sweat and grind for 8 months, they'll finally tell you, hey, there's a room made for exactly what you're doing inside of this building.
Weird. Only knock on this is it's a little cold.
This is true.
I don't know if it's because we're looking directly outside of a window or what.
But well, ''tis the season.
'Tis the season.
Oh.
But there is enough insulating pads in here for acoustical panels that we could curl up with those and make our own little individual blankets for those things.
3 days ago it was 70 degrees, but now it's 30 degrees, so here we are.
Love it. I love this weather.
I think today was the first day it dipped below the 20s.
Yeah.
All I know is this morning I didn't want to get out of my warm shower, and I sat in the parking lot for 5 minutes debating on leaving my warm car and making the trek across into Black and Veatch.
Now here's the ultimate difficult decision to leave your car. Do you have seat warmers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes it difficult. If you just have the dash heaters, it's not that hard.
That's being spoiled right there.
The seat warmers are what keeps you planted there and really spoils you.
I really think that when it comes winter, everyone in the morning debates on whether or not to quit the job and just sit in that car.
Especially now where it's dark before you leave for work and dark when you go home from work. It's dark, you're looking out at your car, and you're thinking, do I sign up for another day of this?
Yeah.
Do I do it?
So a good thing that comes along with this cold weather, though, is the holiday season. Those warm scarves, comfy boots, comfy sweaters.
Very true. I love Christmas sweaters. I love, holiday sweaters.
There you go.
I love holiday parties.
Yes.
And I love holiday shopping.
I personally love ugly Christmas sweater parties. I love white elephant gift parties. Those are pretty great. But yeah, the ugly Christmas sweater parties. Kevin, didn't you just recently attend a party? How'd that go?
Yeah, this last weekend I attended my first holiday party.
The B&B holiday party right over at the convention center.
Yeah. And I decided not to go last year. Convinced myself to go this year, and I guess I could say I'm a little excited that I went. I don't know.
So how'd you fare?
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of what I want to get into here with this holiday party thing is I went to my first company holiday party, and I have a lot of hindsight brought on either by personal experiences, alleged personal experiences, or just witnessing the behavior of other people.
And for greenies like me, I'm looking to you to give me the lessons learned.
Yeah. Lessons learned on how to properly navigate a company holiday party.
Lay it on us.
So preparation for the holiday party starts obviously weeks in advance when you're planning weeks in advance where you're planning the pregame or the happy hour beforehand and gathering that up, which we did, which was cool. So once you get all that, you on the day of, you want to make sure that you don't skip your lunch and you don't skip your dinner. Tip number 2 would be pregame responsibly, and you can't do that if you haven't eaten lunch or dinner. Number 3, do or do not bring a flask to the company holiday party.
That's wonderful non-advice.
I'm just throwing the idea out there.
Way to sit on that fence there. That was really good fence.
Yeah, do or do not. I'll leave the decision up to you.
Yeah.
Number 4, don't be annoying to your supervisors.
Great point.
So don't follow them around, and that's a bad move.
Don't ask them to take 50 selfies with you at the craps table and at the roulette table and be their shadow all night. That's a major no-go move.
Did you get any good snaps?
I don't think I had my phone on me the whole time.
That's shocking.
Which is, unfortunately, until the very end, which brings me to point number 5.
That's awesome.
Absolutely do not drunk text a director, VP, department head of your company afterwards.
So lock up that phone, put it with a loved one,
Yeah.
keep it away from you, out of arm's reach until the next morning.
So any of you guys started your Christmas shopping yet?
That'd be a no for me.
No? Kevin?
You haven't?
I have not, no. Yeah.
Yeah, so 'tis the season for holiday shopping. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely hate shopping.
I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
I'd much rather prefer going on Amazon or going online, maybe a little Etsy, just get some stuff shipped to my house and call it good.
Amazon is a godsend. I really think so.
Okay, yes, but I hate this online shopping. All the cookies that come up.
Yeah, the cookies are the secret killer of the holiday seasons.
Yeah,
They
it's like,
sink you. Yeah.
No matter what social media feed, I always have these random advertisements for things that like I bought for my sister and I don't need makeup anymore. Like quit.
Kevin, you bought
That's
$70
true.
of mascara last week. Would you like this other ad for mascara?
Also, here is the My Chemical Romance CD on sale.
Anybody buying that much mascara
can only be
a My Chemical Romance fan. MCR.
Suggested purchases: eyeliner, heavy eyeliner.
But yeah, just like those internet cookies, or I think what I love is like my phone is tied to my parents' Amazon. We all share the same Amazon Prime, and I get a notification every time they ship something.
Oh, nice.
So that's a little
So they're buying. Sorry, mom and dad, but they're buying gifts, and I'm seeing notifications of these gifts.
You're seeing order placed, shipped date, and also arrival date too. That takes out a little bit of the magic of the holiday season. Yeah.
There's a little bit of frustration and gray area as far as parents working the online system.
Yeah.
They'll get it one day. So I don't know about you guys, but doing Christmas going Christmas shopping every year, you get a little bit of nostalgia. You want to
this is true.
talk about, what are those gifts that you got as a kid that really just made your Christmas?
Great segue into a little holiday podium.
Ooh, a little holiday podium.
Wow.
Yeah, let's knock it out.
I love it.
All right, so today's podium is going to be childhood gifts.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm actually really disappointed because I think mine are going to be very generic. You guys are proud of yours, though.
I'm really proud of this
I'm pretty
list.
proud of mine, yeah.
And I went about like what I can remember as being like the coolest gift I got as a child. Okay, that's what we all
fine.
did?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
not just generic.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron?
My bronze for our Fa-la-la-la podium we got going on here
Oh,
is
jeez.
I just got that. Okay.
I asked for this. I was crazy into motocross and like X Games and everything like that growing up as a kid. So I told my mom what I wanted. I wanted like a BMX helmet, like with the mouth guard and everything, and the visor and the whole deal. Everything except for the goggles I got. Now, mind you, I didn't have the motocross bike to go with it. I had my little Schwinn 10-speed riding back and forth to school like 3 or 4 blocks.
Wait, so you wore a motocross helmet with a 10-speed bike?
And I did. And I rolled up to that school, and I felt like the coolest, baddest guy there.
Well, you probably weren't. Kim, what's your bronze?
All right, so my bronze is actually a Polaroid camera, the instant developing film.
Oh,
like
I bet
you
that
take
was
the
fun,
picture
yeah.
and you can pull it out and shake it a few times, and you can actually stick it onto surfaces.
So mine is boring, but it's Legos, and I still love Legos.
Don't you dare be ashamed of that.
Well,
my
I'm not
friend.
ashamed. It's not cool. It's like everyone got
Whatever.
Legos. Everyone
I
got
disagree. I think
Oh.
Legos are pretty cool. I actually didn't even consider Legos. I totally blanked on that one.
You guys
Legos
just-
are still a thing, right?
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. Are
Those
you kidding me?
huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lego movies?
Lego movies.
Those are everything is awesome. All right, Aaron.
My silver medal is, and I dare you guys to say that this wasn't the it gift when we were kids growing up, was a Razor scooter.
Oh,
Yes.
Razor scooter.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh man,
Only-
it was on.
Only when they're paired with shin guards.
Ooh.
Because that scooter.
Yeah,
Wha-
shin
oh, and
guards.
did you have the
Yeah.
little? Did you have the brake or the
wheel-
wheelie bar?
I had the brake and the wheelie bar. in the
I
back.
took the
Yeah.
brake off because real players braked with their shoe.
Yeah, only betas need a brake bar.
Yeah, and that Christmas gift went from silver all the way down to like 50th on the rankings as soon as it hit you in the shins.
This is true. Yeah.
And then you're done.
The first time that you went over the front handlebars and kissed your shins on the little vertical pole there.
Yeah. All right, Kim.
So my silver is actually Light Bright because
Light Bright.
it was like a throwback gift, and your parents had one in their basement, and they brought it up for you to play with when you were younger.
True.
It made a comeback in the mid-'90s.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
got that gift like probably like a
I have
sweet
no
7
idea
or
what
8
that
year old.
is.
I was swept up in that as well.
It had black screen holes, and you plug in all the lights, and you can create a picture with lights.
Quick correction. You don't plug in lights. You plug in pieces of cheap plastic into the backlit little
I'm just
little
trying
board
to.
there.
It just Get out of my story. Butt out.
All right.
Yours.
Cool.
G.I. Joes would be my silver.
Yep, little action figures and everything.
Yeah. I actually the only memory I have of getting G.I. Joes, I had tubs full. Mm-hmm. But this one time, my aunt came over, and her and my mom were being super conspicuous, so I snuck into the back of her van and saw that she had G.I. Joe set for me.
Whoa!
And to this day, I regret it.
Oh, no.
But that's just what I remember, is being so happy when I saw that G.I. Joe set. I was just like, yes! I'm getting G.I. Joes, Ma. All right, what about gold?
Yeah, what's your gold?
My gold was a 2,000-piece Lego set of a Blue Angel fighter jet.
I had that.
You had it, seriously, with a little like hideaway compartment in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. We just had a moment there.
Maybe.
All right, one-way moment. Here we go. One way. Awesome. No, when I opened that, I almost passed out from happiness. That was the best week of my life.
All right, Kim.
All right, so I'm going to have to agree with what Kevin just said. I don't necessarily remember opening gifts, except for my gold.
Ooh, the one.
Nintendo 64.
Oh, N64.
You guys.
With the game controller to end all game controllers.
Which color?
It was like the charcoal color.
Oh, boo. You didn't have the see-through? I had the see-through green with DK.
Ooh, see-through green.
Okay, so now that was a sub-gold. I'm like gold-plated. I'm not gold.
You just dumped under gold. How does that feel?
Whatever. Greatest gift ever.
Mine was N64, but I'm calling it audible and saying my PS2. Because I think I was still young. When would I have gotten a PS2?
That would have been like 2006, 2007.
Yeah, so I was a little kid, I guess. I was like...
You would have been 16.
12.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It would have been 12, yeah.
Jeez, how old are you?
Whoopsie.
I was going to say I was definitely 18.
Oh, my God.
All right, Aaron was 16. Listeners, do the math. All right.
So I was a little guy. You guys were adults.
I'm like, yeah, I remember 06. I graduated high school.
I was still skateboarding. All right. So ending the gold on a bad note for those two. We're gonna move on to a newer little segment called Aaron's Dictionary, and this came up because if you can't tell yet, Aaron is just super weird and says the weirdest things. So I started taking note of all these metaphors. Let me just say, gilding the lily.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Gilding the lily means you're putting something pretty, gold, or like a thin layer of something shiny on something that's already pretty.
Gosh, this goes deep.
Gilding the lily.
Real deep.
Okay, we're going to call it there for Aaron's Dictionary. Okay, so bringing it in, and as Aaron mentioned earlier, our episode today is going to be about choosing an internship and all the factors that you should weigh, as well as what you should be getting out of that internship experience. And then we'll go into selecting a full-time job. Yeah, this wasn't supposed to be a standalone episode, but as we got to recording, as we typically do, we took way too much time.
We lost track of time, and then an hour came by, and like, hey, there we go.
And we said, screw it, let's just make this its own episode. The next logical progression in this series is choosing between all these internships and jobs that you're bound to get now that you've heard great interviews from recruiters. So we're assuming that our listeners are the cream of the crop. They're going to have multiple offers.
Obviously.
And this discussion is going to be centered around that. So how to choose the different internships, the different factors you should weigh when choosing internships, as well as full-time jobs. And then we're also going to go into what you should be getting out of your internship experience. So to start out, we're going to talk about weighing the different factors on how to choose your internship. We've got 5 main bullet points. I'm just going to read through those real quick, and then we'll back up and actually get some discussion. Okay, so the first one we have is location, then company reputation, type of work, uniqueness of opportunity, and last but not least, icing on the cake, money. So let's go back up to location. I think that this is a big factor, especially engineering. You can be pulled to all parts of the country or world on an internship.
You can be in a city, or a lot of times you can end up in the middle of nowhere, depending on what type of job you take. So,
we have a lot of cross-country experience, I think, on this team here. Kim, Kevin, I won't speak for you guys, but you guys have some cross-country internship experience.
Yeah, I stayed home. There was a couple years I was close to home, and then I decided to take off and have an internship in the middle of the desert in Nevada. And it was a really good experience, though, to get away and be in the middle of nowhere and be able to travel.
So I guess what I would like to say on when you're weighing this, like, don't be afraid of that remote location. I know it's easier for you to, like, stay at home because, I can live at home with my parents and it cuts down on expenses. Well, guess what? Most internships nowadays come with a stipend to help cover the cost of living, or you get an apartment for free.
Also, it's short term. It's only for 3 months.
Very
so,
true.
what do you have to lose?
Nothing.
You know what I mean? It is a little bit different, weighing the location option for an internship versus full-time. You should definitely consider location a lot more for full-time because, you have to live there for an extended period of time. But, hey, if you have a unique opportunity in, a random part of the country and you're really excited about it, then just go do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, and Becca brings up a good point. A lot of these factors also roll into full-time, although we are kind of specifically talking about internship. Don't count these factors out for full-time. We'll get into that a little bit more later. But yeah, I mean, obviously big city is going to be fun, but also more expensive. So.
Yeah. And I'm the poster child from growing up in a town of 1,000 people and coming down to Des Moines for one of my internships, and then coming to Kansas City, an even larger city, for my full-time job. So it's one of those things. Anybody who grew up in a small town, or whether you're in the Midwest or wherever you're from, don't be afraid to make that leap. You're going to find the big city kind of urban atmosphere pretty inviting, and hey, there are stores open after 8 p.m., so that's a good thing.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that was a thing anywhere else. Okay. So the second on our list, and this is in no particular order, just happened to be the second thing we wrote down, is company reputation.
Huge.
And I think one thing we want to talk about specifically was the benefits of going with a smaller company versus going with a big company.
I think it happens a lot that students will gravitate towards those larger companies that everyone is drawn to, whether it's because of their presence in the working world. Or,
they have the biggest booth at the career fair.
What they're handing out. Don't
working
do
for a big company is like you wearing name brand clothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, don't necessarily rule out the small companies because they can offer a lot of great experience as well.
Yeah, it offers two different things. Like bigger companies, it's
exposure.
It's going to look great on your resume because it's going to be recognized by recruiters at every company. But then also, smaller companies, you might get a more intimate internship experience because it's you might be the only intern, so more attention is put on you.
RT.
Right.
It's kind of like exposure versus immersion. A smaller company, you're going to immerse yourself more, but you're getting better exposure to a large company. So it's just weighing those two things.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so our third. What do we have? The different type of work that you can do or that you will be doing at this internship. So we're assuming during your interview, you asked this question, what kind of work will this internship entail?
And if that isn't on your standard list of questions, put it on your list.
Yeah,
right.
Because it's key. You don't want to be sitting down doing Excel spreadsheets your entire internship.
Yeah, or filing papers.
Yeah.
You want to get legit experience.
Yeah, leave that for the full-time engineers.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when we say type of work too, it's the specific work you're going to be doing at that company, but also what industry does your company that you're pursuing an internship fall under? If you're really excited about power like we are you working for a utility company or someone who has ties to power generation?
Exactly.
If you're interested in manufacturing, are you interviewing in a company that focuses on that? So really keep that in mind because you want to get relevant internship experience.
Exactly.
But hey, if you don't know what you want to do yet, that's totally fine. That's what internships are for.
Exactly.
Figuring out what you want to do.
Yeah.
And also, if you only have one internship offer, accept it no matter what type of work it is.
Agreed.
Experience is experience.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you get into the career fair and into the interview process and you start learning more about the internship and that it's more field stuff and you were expecting office stuff, steer into that. Go for it. There are no better stories if you're interviewing a candidate for a full-time job than their field stories. The field stories are the best.
Especially relating with the actual, if you have unions on site and the people that get down and get their hands dirty.
Exactly, yeah.
Those are great experience stories.
Those are the best stories to carry over to an interview.
So I don't want to repeat you, but I don't know if you said it or not. Try to get at least one field job, whether you're out in a plant or in a factory, manufacturing, or oil refinery.
Yep.
Try and get some type of job where you have to wear PPE to work.
No, seriously though.
That's legitimate, yeah.
Yeah, because at most places like that, they're going to be doing some sort of construction, maintenance, that type of thing. And that realm of the industry, regardless of where you fall from an engineering standpoint is where all the money is. So like if you get an understanding of construction and maintenance and installation of equipment, that type of thing, like you're on a really, really good track. Like you're going to have better knowledge than a lot of people who work full time and experienced have.
Our fourth one that we have down here is uniqueness of opportunity, and this was kind of brought on by a student question that Becca received. I forgot exactly the wording of that. Could you?
Yeah, so the student question that we received was, is it better to get an internship at a different place than you've interned before, or take an internship at the same place you've already interned at?
Yeah. So just to set it up, we're talking about getting different opportunities or sticking out with the same company and maybe building that loyalty base and that familiarity with that culture.
My thought on this is, if you have mentally committed to this company, like, hey, I really want to pursue a full-time job here, then I think it would make sense for you to stay at the same place. But if you're not 100% sure, like, it's always good to explore your options, diversify your skill set and your experience. Like, that makes you look really good.
Also, seeking other internships can use as a little bargaining tool in the future.
This is true. That's a real thing.
So you intern for one company one summer, the next the other. They both want you back. Like, hey.
I think that if you know that you're going to get an internship offer at the same place that you've already interned at previously, you should still shop. Like, you should never you should never stop shopping. Always keep your options open. You never know what you're going to find.
And you
never know.
It keeps the job hunt muscles intact, and the fast twitch job hunt muscle keeps it primed.
Yeah, so like I had mentioned before, I had done some office work in St. Louis, but then I decided with my environmental background that I wanted to pursue something that was some extreme field work, if you will. I decided to take an internship with a mining company, and I was actually on the surface of mines doing environmental sampling and environmental field work. It was a very unique opportunity, and obviously there's not a lot of mining companies out there that you can just go out into the middle of the desert and be there and work mining hours, but it was just something that was really intriguing, and I didn't want to rule it out. It came across and
completely out of left field.
Completely out of left field, and staying close to
It's the thing about an internship. It's a 3-month experiment.
Yeah, exactly.
You hate it. Like, guess what? You're going back to school. You're going back to your comfort zone.
Exactly. Yeah.
But even if you do hate it, pull out the positive.
Pull
out the positive.
Yeah.
There you go.
You're going to go back to school with a little bit more money in your pockets. Speaking of those dollar signs.
Oh, wow. Great transition, Becca.
Our final topic regarding this or factor is money. Should you consider money when searching for internships?
This would be one thing where I'm going to go quickly backtrack on something I said earlier, which is I would heavily steer away from negotiating money between internship offers. That's something that it's appropriate to do during full-time offers if you feel comfortable with that, if you know enough to negotiate your salary. Internship offers, no.
You're not in a position.
You're not in a position to negotiate
There's
money.
30 other candidates.
Bingo, exactly.
Yes.
Say thank you, shake a hand, and get on with it.
Maybe you've compared all the other factors that we've already talked about, and that's the last thing you're trying to figure out. You like both opportunities, and you're like, well, one of them is going to make me a little bit more money, and I have student loans to pay off. Okay, that makes sense. Go for it. But, don't make that your number one deciding factor.
No, correct.
Yeah. Agreed. So that ends it for, kind of how to choose an internship. If we missed anything or you have any questions, you're really struggling, let us know. We'll definitely answer those questions on our next podcast, or we'll try to get to it offline.
Slide into our DMs.
Yeah, slide into the DMs. I always love waking up to a couple DMs.
Not just one, but a couple.
A couple DMs, yeah. Make me feel cool. So, hard transition to the next topic. What you should be getting out of this internship. And this kind of leads into a little bit of the previous section. There's a lot to get out of if it's your first internship versus if it's your last internship. And that comes with experience, and just mainly your first internship, you're just trying to get experience. Your last internship, you're looking for where you're going to spend the rest of your life. Well, potentially.
Your life.
A good portion of your professional career.
Yeah, it's not a prison sentence, but
regardless of what Kevin said 10 seconds ago.
Yeah. All right, so Aaron, why don't you kick us off?
Okay, yeah, sure. Starting with the first one, I think is the biggest one. The most valuable thing you walk out of from the internship is contacts. More valuable than anything else you walk away with is knowing the people in that company and having good rapport with them. That's your job during the internship.
This is the time in your early career that you want to start building your professional network. And so if you are going to maybe start your LinkedIn page, get some business cards, this is where you start building those professional relationships and making those connections, because they may be able to offer you maybe a position down the road with that company. Do not ever close that door with the folks that you meet and work with.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that networking, make sure you go to all the intern events.
Absolutely.
The HR, the recruiters, the people setting that up are looking to see who goes and who doesn't go. But that's just an easy, low-hanging fruit opportunity for you to network, whether it's through the service events or if they hold kickball tournaments, etc. Baseball games.
Yeah, we have a pretty busy intern calendar here at Black and Beach. I love how busy they keep the folks, but also how rewarding of the experiences that they give them. Our HR team works really hard to make those things happen, and John and Brittany are part of that team.
Yeah, totally.
A lot of the friends that I have here at Black and Beach I've met during my internship from those intern networking events.
Or even I didn't go back and work at the place I had an internship at, but I still am in contact with the people who interned there with me.
Right.
I think another big thing that we need to touch on regarding contacts is having a good relationship with people at companies that you did internships with is good, because they could end up being potential clients at the company that you end up working at.
Great point.
So if you had a good relationship with them and they liked you, they know that you're smart and ethical human being, that reflects well on the company that you're working for now, and they're going to want to work with you.
Great point.
That is an awesome.
The next thing that we should get out of the internship is kind of not exactly related to your career, but it's something you should definitely take advantage of, and that's taking a break from the college food, the college drinking, the college routine, and start eating healthy,
exercising, getting enough sleep.
Yeah. Getting some sleep and still enjoying yourself, but not enjoying yourself 7 nights a week.
Maybe you should replace those 8 beers you normally consumed on a Wednesday night with 8 glasses of water.
Ooh.
That's a hot take.
That's a healthy liver right there. Another one that I wanted to bring up as far as things to get out of your internship is applicable experience. And by that, I really mean stats. As you're going through your internship and doing your normal day-to-day stuff, you should be recording everything that you're doing, whether you understand it or not, because the most powerful thing you can bring to your resume after that internship's over is not, oh, I'm really proficient in Microsoft Office. Oh, hey, I wrote reports and I stayed in meetings and I talked with people. No, that doesn't mean anything on a resume. What means something is if you tell me, hey, I worked on a procurement package for a $3 million piece of equipment, or I helped commission a 50 megawatt reciprocating engine generating unit, something like that. Putting those stats from your previous experience is like freaking gold.
I gotcha.
A little technical jargon there for our college students.
And I'm gonna throw an underline to one of the things that Aaron said. He mentioned a specific dollar value. If you can throw in an interview, hey, I did something that was worth I did a project proposal that was worth X amount of dollars, then your interviewer is going to see, okay, you have an understanding of the monetary content of the work that you're working on, which is so that's applicable in every job.
Bring the stats with you.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to touch on, and it kind of relates to this applicable experience, but during that internship, relating to networking, go out in your group, if you're on a team or in a larger department, go out and see what other people do. These people that are 5 to 10 years older than you.
Talk with them.
And not just for the networking to create a contact, but just to see what kind of work they do. Try and get a flavor of their attitude and if they're excited about it, because you're looking at your potential future.
Love that.
And one thing that I didn't realize when I was an engineering student, I thought I was going to be doing all these calculations. I thought everything I'd be working in class I'd be doing from the ground up, starting with X and ending with Y. But that's not the case. Engineering in the real world is these standards, these equations have already been made for you. You're just reapplying them. And that's something I never understood until I had an internship. So I'm like, okay, and now I have a better insight into what my actual future in engineering is going to look like.
Exactly.
I'm going to piggyback on that and say, yes, absolutely talk to other engineers that you work with, but talk to technicians, talk to people working in the field, get an idea of what they do, because the thing that you have to understand as an engineer is that yes, you're doing the detailed design work, but everything that you do affects somebody else, right? So having an understanding of what construction workers do, what procurement people do, what technicians do is so important.
And this is great advice for just starting your career.
I agree.
Totally.
I agree.
Yeah,
Never
totally
underestimate how big of a team you're playing on. You're playing on a huge team, especially here at Black and Beach.
You may not
It's
even
unbelievable.
realize it.
Exactly.
All right, so this last point we're going to bring up here is the other thing to get out of your internship is
Swag.
Swaggy.
Swag.
So much swag.
And we're talking, so the metaphorical swag, we know when you got that experience under your belt, you're carrying yourself around campus like, you
have real accomplishments.
Yeah, you've
talk
got
with
some
real
accomplishments.
people. Yeah.
You are the shiz.
Yeah.
Come back with some crazy stories from the summer. Even if they didn't happen, you got to make sure that you have a better story than your friend about something awesome.
I was out at the power plant walking around, and all of a sudden it just
Oh,
blew
it just
up.
blew up. So I jumped on the pipe and hugged it, and then it all went back together.
And honestly, enjoy it. You obviously have to be a humble person, but at the same time,
Sit down, be humble.
Yeah.
But humble brag.
but humble brag.
And don't
yes.
hide those accomplishments either. Don't be like, if somebody asks you, hey, what did you do this last summer, and they want to hear about it, don't be like, oh, I just had an internship. Let's just do this thing. No, be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Be proud of what you accomplished. You landed that internship.
Yeah.
You rocked it, obviously, because all of our listeners are top shelf listeners. Be proud of that, and don't be afraid to share that information.
You're top shelf. You're right next to the Maker's Mark. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Maker's Mark is not top shelf.
Hey, do you guys want to know when you're really excited about your internship and when you really enjoyed what you did? You got swag.
Ooh.
I was gonna say, go through the summer with a do it for the Vine mentality.
Do it for the Vine, like the short video?
Yeah,
But they can't do that anymore because Vine did.
that's what with that mentality. I know, R.I.P. Vine.
R.I.P.
Do it with that
Vine.
mentality. You know what?
That was rough.
You know what? That sucked.
Kevin's
Cut
out.
it. Go back, Kim. Take it away.
To our younger listeners, can you please let us know if you even know what Vine is / if you used it when it existed?
We'll send a survey.
Email us at cobpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Do you know what Vine is? Yes or no? Just email us a yes or a no.
We'll know what you're talking about.
So, second to last on our list here is getting a flavor of the company culture. And this really pertains to, I guess, every internship, but more so your last internship, because I know for me, and I would think most people, that last internship almost always transitions into a job. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
And just make sure that company is the company you want to work for. And when I say get a flavor of the culture, I don't mean like look at their values. Like they list all their values, they list their mission statement. Don't just read them, but really look at the people and how they live those values, and not just like go with like accountability and look around like, okay, who's accountable?
Yeah.
Just, is it a chill place?
Yeah.
Are you afraid to ask questions?
Yeah.
Do you feel like your back's against the wall?
Yeah, I think actually, Aaron, you had maybe mentioned this before, but you are who you hang out with. So hang out with people when you're working side by side with people. Make sure they motivate you. Don't feel too comfortable.
Yeah.
Make sure you're always challenged and motivated and looking to learn. I mean, that is very important.
There's the old saying that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah, totally.
If you're patting yourself on the back because you're the best person in the room, get to another room and challenge yourself.
Strive to be the dumbest person in the room.
Nice, I like that. march towards the bottom. That's what Becca's motto is. March to the bottom.
She does a good job at that, actually.
Being the dumbest person in the room.
Oh.
I truly live by
Bang,
the
bang.
words of. I truly live by the words of Drake. Started from the bottom.
And now she's still there. All right, so we're going to quickly go through some what not to do's, and I think it'd be cool if we just go around the horn. And I'm going to throw one in here. Don't tweet about how stupid your boss is.
Oh, never.
I had a friend that got...
You keep that in-house.
He got
always.
in trouble.
Ooh, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's an idiot. We still make fun of him.
You keep that in-house.
Oh, that's really bad.
Keep bad blood in-house. Don't poll social media to ask what internship opportunity you should take.
Don't go where your friends are going.
Yes.
You'll make new ones.
Don't be afraid to move somewhere new, which we talked about earlier. Emphasizing that.
Don't take your foot off the gas when you get the internship offer. Always be shopping.
I want to add one more just because I want to touch on it. If you have multiple offers, can we at least let people know, do not accept an offer and then back out of it? I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Pro tip.
I would love to hope our listeners, 99.9% of you would never do that because that is not a good look.
No, it's
not a
not.
good look.
Word
Not a-
spreads like wildfire.
Yeah, and we also got another student question, just to prelude this, on what made us choose B&B. And instead of just like sitting here and shoving B&B down your guys' throats, we thought we would just ask, what were some of the things we weighed? What were we looking at when we accepted a full-time job? And I guess that ended up us choosing Black and Beach at the same time.
Ironic, actually, we talked about it before, but uniqueness of opportunities within the company was what really drew me here.
For me, it was alignment of values. I know, Kevin, you teed it up perfectly earlier when you said, don't just go off the list and say, yeah, I like respect, I like integrity, I like all this. The one that really stuck for me was stewardship. Stewardship is the one value that I think no company can do without. I love everything stewardship means. But seeing the people here, how they invest in their community and also have an investment mindset of what they want to do, how they want to get to where they want to be in the future and what they're doing today to make that happen, I said, that's a company that has a vision that I want to be a part of. So stewardship is the biggest one for me.
And it's like, you know that you're coming to work at a company where it's like you're valued for more than just your day-to-day work.
Yes.
Like you're valued
Yes.
for like how you participate in the community, like who you are as a human being, and like what initiatives that you're willing to like put on.
And more is expected of you than just the normal, hey, punch the clock in, punch the clock out. You're expected to be an engaged community member. I love that.
Yeah, totally.
One huge thing for me is the work-life balance. You know, when I was judging my full-time offers, I definitely got offered more money for different companies. But what came with that money that, you know, was kind of written in the subtext is you're going to be working a lot more hours. You're going to be on call. You're going to have to work weekends, outages, etc. That you'd end up making the same if you broke it down to hours worked versus salary. You'd be making around roughly the same. But you know, I really like the fact that, you know, flex schedule 980 where I'm getting every other Friday off, and you can even flex those Fridays off to a Monday if you need to. Just they understand that when you leave this workplace, you have a completely separate life, and a lot of times, you know, as cliche as it would be to absolutely be in love with your job and like married to the job. That's not the case. We have families here. We have other pursuits outside of work, and a company that recognizes that is huge for me.
Yeah, time is a lot more valuable than money. You'll find that out.
That is so true.
Something that you will run out of.
Yeah.
You never really realize it until you start getting into the swing of things and in your job.
So you're saying you run out of time before you run out of money is what you're saying?
I'm saying you never have both until it's too late.
I'm going to piggyback off of something that Kim said where she was talking about the uniqueness of opportunities within the company. Something that I always asked at every place that I interviewed for a full-time job at was, do you feel like you're doing the same thing every day, or do you feel like you're coming to work,
I like that.
You're facing new challenges, new problems, and you're leaving the building knowing that you've learned something new? And at Black and Beach, every single person that I talked to, it was a resounding yes, and that has definitely been the case since I've started working here. I found something that I really like about here is that people are willing to invest in me. Clearly, we're doing a podcast at work. Like, we're clearly being invested in for other things other than just our engineering schools, which is engineering skills, which is so cool.
Yeah, we're young engineers, and we've literally been given a platform to speak on. Because we had these great ideas, and like, okay, run with it.
Yeah, and we had people here who believed in us, and they were willing to give us the opportunity to do that. Like, you don't get that at a lot of places. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right now, we've walked you through the process of getting through engineering school, getting an internship, interviewing, going to the career fair, and then how to choose that internship and a full-time job. Now we're going to our next episode is going to be focused on once you start that full-time job and what you should expect transitioning from college to the real world.
Love it. We're taking you through this far, folks. Once more onto the breach.
Yeah. So continue holding our hand, and we'll walk you through the journey known as life.
We're here for you.
Life is a beach. We're walking, holding hands on the beach of life.
We're your Sherpas up the Himalayas of life.
Hey. Hey, where you see one set of footprints in the sand, that was when I carried you.
I just wanted to dive in a little bit. I found some pretty cool articles I wanted to share with you guys today. And since we're talking about some holiday gifts, we've got everyone's mind is a little bit of tech gifts. So whether it be headphones, smartphones, VR, PS4s, it just got me thinking. I found a few articles I just wanted to share with you guys and just rack your brains a little bit. All right, so the first article got me thinking is titled, "What Does Life Look Like After Smartphones?" I can't even remember the last time I didn't have a smartphone, even though that was literally only 7 years ago.
I don't doubt whatsoever that I would be more calm and tranquil without a smartphone.
Yeah.
But I think I'd be more anxious because I don't know what's going on, and I can't stand that.
Agreed.
Yeah. So basically what this article is getting after is obviously the smartphone is going to come to an end. Things change.
Weird.
The way
Vote
the
for yourself.
speed at
Okay,
which
that's fine.
technology travels is crazy, right?
What if instead of a smartphone, we just become smart people?
No.
We're regressing.
We're regressing.
All right, so the article states, with technological progress moving at the speed of light, it's kind of insane to think that the smartphone will come to the same fate as the landline and the flip phone. So a Swedish communications company performed a survey of smartphone users in 2015, so keep that detail in mind,
Ancient history.
and found that 1 in 2 expected that the smartphone would become obsolete by 2020.
Oh, please.
2020.
This was 2015 and people said obsolete by
Yes.
20. Oh, come on.
So do you think that's realistic?
No, not at all.
All
Not
right.
at all. And what I love is that Apple kind of went through that evolution where they started making the iPhones thinner and thinner and smaller. But they realized that people actually don't want a thinner and smaller, continuously miniaturized device. They want something a little larger that they can actually use and is hefty enough to stand up to their everyday lives. Because these things come with us wherever we're at.
Yeah.
Work, play, wherever.
Obsolete. What would be the replacement? There's no way we can't. There's no way we
Friggin-
can't not go around with all that information in our pocket.
So that is what the article gets into. So it says, it asks the question, what's going to replace the smartphone? And the communications company predicted that technologies such as VR and augmented reality and other wearable AI is going to replace smartphones. So people don't want to carry around something in their hands, so they're going to wear something on their wrist. So we're already seeing that in smartwatches, right?
This is true, yeah.
So we're eventually getting to that.
Okay.
So it's basically saying that, we're going to wear watches. It might even be embedded in our jewelry and our clothing. It might even be projected on our skin or travel with us. Like you were saying before, we had this discussion off air, but you were saying that drones, like you could see something like flying around you. The point that they're getting at is that eventually the smartphone is not going to be a thing anymore.
Yeah. Which
That's crazy.
I think it's completely
Bogus.
balderdash, bull feathers.
I don't know. The next argument that this article makes is that there's an anticipation that the amount of input that we are going to need for a phone is going to be greatly reduced because of speaking technology or like voice command. So like Amazon Echo, Google, Siri.
All of their home products and everything.
Yes. So actually it's going to start anticipating your needs, so you won't any longer need a phone in front of you. That's the other argument it makes. And we're no longer going to be accessing the internet, we're going to be part of the internet. Is where we're heading.
Little Tron.
So that's it.
That's tight.
That's the third
And
Tron
that's the only
film.
thing is like you always have to go into your phone and access this
True.
data and find it. But what if it knew what you wanted?
And that's what they're getting at right here.
Whoa.
That's mind-blowing.
We're screwed. We're screwed.
All right, so the second article that I have for you guys, this is a quick one. People that appreciate noise cancellation technology, being one of them.
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder, like, how the hell does this stuff even work?
When I first saw the tech come out, I was really surprised, and I honestly did wonder for a while how that could possibly work.
I mean, I know it's probably just a passing thought, and you two probably already know because you're wicked smart, but I just wanted to share a little info with our audience. So, found this article that explains it because I definitely didn't know, so I'm going to share it with you. Here's something I learned. So there's an active and passive means of reducing sound. First one and the easiest one being passive. Passive being the material that absorbs the sound. So that can actually reduce noise levels up to 20 decibels.
Yeah.
So it depends on, like, obviously what we're surrounded by.
Why this room sounds so much better is because
Exactly.
all of these acoustical foam panels are in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's your passive noise reduction. Your active noise reduction, on the other hand, especially in headphones, the technology has speakers and microphones that face outward away from your ears. So you have the padding underneath the speakers and the mics. Those mics pick up background sound.
External noise.
Yes. And so it will try to,
Destructively interfere.
Yes, thank you. That's what I was thinking of. Destructive interference. So it will try to create the same sound, whether from amplitude and frequency, to cancel out that noise up to 70 decibels. So you can comfortably cancel out all that background noise and then blast your Kendrick Lamar music in the background. So I just wanted to thank all the listeners for joining us today. You can find us on YouTube at COB Podcast and on SoundCloud at Close of Business Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you can get all the alerts for the new episodes, and go ahead and give us a follow on social media via Twitter or Instagram at COB Podcast. Otherwise, you can email us with any questions, comments, or if you want to send us a copy of your letter to Santa, you can email us at cobpodcast@gmail.com. Love your bones. Das Vidania.
Oh, wow, it wasn't bad.